Language is a tool that helps us to communicate our ideas, opinions, and feelings to the people around us. And getting to learn a language has the added benefit of understanding different perspectives, and doing so we can have a clear understanding of the world that surrounds us. During this year, I have invested my time and money researching and learning why do people stop learning a language, what conditions are the best way to learn them, how do services provide the best experience for the user, and where is the best place to learn so. And as I dove deeper onto each question, the challenge of creating an experience that can address all of these factors became harder by the minute. So, in this video, I will show you what I found. When I started this project, my first ideas were just to copy the features from the top services. I mean, those features got them where they are, right? But as soon as I test my first ideas with people, I soon realized that I have created a Frankenstein monster that had no soul. But why was that? Why did my idea only seem like a pretty version of other services? After many articles, research papers, and videos talking about this, I concluded that I have only copied the tools, but not the environment needed to learn a language. So, why is the environment so important? As linguist Stephen Krashen proposed, there is a filter that needs to be overcome by people in order to acquire the input of the language and achieve competence in it. I will try to explain this concept better. Imagine that learning a language is like a chocolate bar. You can have it in different brands, sizes, and flavors. And you may like M&Ms more than Kit Kats. But in order to enjoy it, you have to be in the mood for one. And once you eat it, you feel more rewarded, right? This same phenomenon happens in the different services that provide a language learning experience. So, let's review 4 of them and understand what kind of environment they offer on their perspective of a language learning solution. Duolingo is a service that gives users the ability to learn a language by making an environment that looks and feels like a game, with a free price tag for people that look for an entry point. This is why they focus on pretty visuals and animations, a point system that rewards actions within the app, and a leaderboard system to compete against other users, and overall making it fun. This has made Duolingo the go-to app for people that want to start a language learning journey. But when I interview people that have previously used Duolingo, the most common answer was that they find it tedious and they didn't achieve anything in a period of 1 to 3 months, and that's why they eventually left the service. Babel is an interesting one. This is a subscription service that offers curated lessons that are based on day-to-day conversations, live classes that the user can join about various topics that range from how to present yourself to how to order in a restaurant, and various articles and podcasts that the user can consume in their spare time. This is backed up with research papers from different universities. This environment on paper seems great. People can enjoy the benefits of curated classes with just 10 minutes of daily practice, or so they claim. But based on consumer reviews and the few people that I interviewed that have previously used this service, I found that what people liked the most about Babel was their live classes. Users claim the lessons became repetitive and the price tag did not justify the enjoyment of the service. HelloTalk, the social media for language learners. Connecting with people through the internet that enjoy the same passions and hobbies as you has become an unbelievable easier task each year, and HelloTalk manages to fit in that description. This service is a social media platform for language learners. People can connect with natives around the world and talk about the same hobbies and help each other with the language they wish to learn. Here, they have features like chats, calls, profiles, a wall of content, adding friends, and the main feature of connecting with nearby people that want to practice with each other. Social media is an extremely engaging environment. People are drawn to interact with the content and the people in it. After some research from reviews in places like Reddit, Facebook, and YouTube, I found a range of mixed experiences. People have reported to establish a connection within minutes of using the app. Others have only used the app to connect with nearby people with some success, and other groups have left the app because they didn't have luck connecting with anyone. italki, connecting people one at a time. Finding a tutor that can guide you from the beginning to the end of the language learning journey is the tool that everyone needs to put in practice the knowledge we gain over time. italki is a service that lets users connect with natives or community tutors by paying for their hourly rate. The main selling point of italki is their competitive prices. You can find tutors that range from $3 up to $100 if that's what you want. This service also provides a community aspect in a form of a forum that allows users to help others or just share a story. Here, users have full control of their time, and the environment that italki provides is clear and straightforward. Learn a language with one-on-one lessons from tutors around the world at an affordable price. I tried them all, and what did I learn? Different services provide a different flavor of the language learning experience, and I have tried most of them for this project, but I focus on the 4 previously mentioned because they provide a unique take on what I would like a service to be. However, I don't see many people speaking 2 or 3 languages around me, and I wanted to know why. Why do people stop learning a language, and why do people start learning one to begin with? To understand the user, I first prepare a survey to understand the habits that the user has when they start the language learning journey. What I found from a survey of 33 participants is: 1. English is the most demanded language that people want to learn, followed by German, French, and Spanish. The success rate based on people's self-awareness is very mixed. 15 participants recognize that they are in the beginner stage. 13 participants consider themselves to be in the advanced level, and 5 are in the process of learning. One interesting claim that most services provide in their marketing campaigns and advertising is that people can learn a language with just a small practice a day. And this graph shows how much time people are willing to spend practicing a language. What I found intriguing about this is that based on my research and my own experience as a language learner is that you generally need more than 3 hours plus to learn a language or to study it. But people are not willing to put in the effort or may not have the time to do so. Even though reading, writing, speaking, and listening are the 4 basic skills of language learning, I wanted to know how many people would rather want to be able to maintain a conversation or want to be able to read and write in a second language. As you can see in this graph, people gravitate towards communicating with people, leaving grammar as a second instance. I made a video about the importance of grammar in the language learning journey, and I would encourage you to watch it if you want additional info on this topic. I also wanted to know the user satisfaction with services that provide a similar experience. What I found was that 1. Duolingo is the #1 in user satisfaction, and 2. Even though not many people have tried the other services listed, the few people that tried did not have a great experience with them. Finally, I wanted to know how people feel about reaching for guidance online. And even though not many people have connected with a native to practice a language, people are open to the idea of seeking advice online. This survey showed me quantitative data on the things that I need to be aware of when creating an environment that users can feel comfortable. Nevertheless, I still did not know why people stop learning a language. To answer that question, I had to pop my introvert bubble and go out and interview people that have stopped learning a language or successfully learned one to know why. To answer this question, I had to pop my introvert bubble and go out and interview people that have stopped learning a language or successfully learned one to know why and how they did it. In the end, I got 6 participants that I had a personal interview, 4 participants that I got in my first guerrilla interview attempt, and 2 professional teachers that work with international students. This process was not easy. People have busy schedules and I often struggle with communicating with other people, but I never thought that I would enjoy this process as I did. I think this is mainly because I was the one listening and not the one talking. So, once I reviewed the recording and organized the thoughts, feelings, and thinking process of the interviewees, I found that users want an engaging method to the language learning, avoiding unnecessary long explanations, words, or phrases. Users feel frustrated when their level is not on par with the class or the lessons given to them. And people that have tried to memorize words or phrases have a hard time recalling them in a conversation. Finally, people don't like being excluded from their passions. People like to deepen their knowledge of the culture that first got them to learn a language. With this new qualitative data, I made my first proto-personas, and after some feedback from my tutor and mentor, I made 2 distinct types of users. Ana Maria is an exchange student that got an international scholarship at Bullsworth Academy and needs to learn English because she wants to be able to make new friends and understand the classes she's enrolled in. What she's looking for in a language learning service is to be able to talk with a native and practice in a casual manner, and also that the lessons are not either repetitive or tedious. On the other hand, we have Joseph Mercury. Joseph Mercury. He is a professional in his studies that wants to learn Chinese because he desires a promotion at his workplace. He wants classes that are challenging and do not waste his time due to his busy schedule. What he's looking for in a service is to have conversations with certified tutors that can aid him with learning Chinese. So, during weeks of reading new material, brainstorming ideas, and getting input from other UX designers, I decided to take the best features of my first Frankenstein monster and make an environment that fits people's needs and wants. This is when I put a name to this new flavor on my take of the language learning experience. I present you Sense, the final first iteration of my design. But before I present you how Sense works, I will show you how I got here. The first thing I did was the user flows for the main features of Sense. Getting to sign up or log in, getting to the home screen, looking and filtering tutors available to talk with, and making a rudimentary type of lesson that the user can take. The next step was the user journeys, on how would the personas react to certain features within the app, and map their satisfaction before and after they completed each task successfully. Once I put on paper what the user might encounter in the app, I had to design the interactions between the app and the user. For that, I made a low-fidelity prototype to visually understand how well will they interact with each other. The thing that I learned by force is that pen and paper are your best friends in the first stages of design. I committed the error of being stubborn and making everything digital. On one hand, I became very proficient in tools like Adobe XD, Illustrator, and Photoshop. On the other hand, it took me too much time to learn and get my first screens ready to get feedback from my mentors and peers. The next iteration was the mid-fidelity prototype. In this stage, I got a virus called the feature creep. During the whole process of design, I never stopped reading about language learning and human behavior. As a consequence, I wanted to add new features all the time. And to do so, I had to go back to my user journeys, personas, and flows. And this could have been avoided in the first stage of design, the low-fidelity prototype. Still, I learned a valuable lesson that I will apply to my next projects. Finally, I got to the high-fidelity prototype and soon started to look for participants to test my product. For this part, I used the Jacob-Nielsen scale to test the main issues that the prototype has. And I used the HEART framework to test the adoption and engagement of Sense features. Here is a quick rundown on the results of the testing. If you want to see the results in a more timely manner, you can visit my website with the results in the description below. On the usability issues department, I had to redesign the home screen. People reported it to be very messy. 2. The community aspect of Sense was very confusing. 3. Some titles and symbols had to be redesigned. And 4. Options to log in or sign up are clearer since most participants skip that part. On the user experience side, people seem to like Sense offer in the language learning and see themselves using the app if it ever comes out. People reported Sense to be very similar to Facebook or Twitter, and even though this was intentional, the main goal is not to make a social media platform, so this had to be tweaked a little. With these results, the next step was to give it a makeover, and I wanted Sense to feel comfortable and open to any ideas and any users. To do so, I chose Sense visual design to be based on various types of marine life. I also applied the material design guidelines, and after some feedback to make the app more accessible, this is how I ended with the first final version of Sense. I also made a video going in depth on Sense features, and why did I choose them. But if you want to test the prototype, or just watch the video, both are linked in the description below. This project is still in development, since I got really invested in the connection between human language and the world around us. And I am currently learning a third language to understand the gaps that a user might have in their language learning journey, while connecting with more experts that can guide me and help me with their vision on how should I tackle this problem. Sense's main focus is to make people talk and commit errors as soon as they can, so they can build trust with Sense core designs that are 1. Letting people learn a language with the hobbies they already enjoy, and 2. By focusing on verbal fluency rather than grammatical proficiency. This project was big, and I wanted to give a big thanks to all of the people that let me interview them, tested the app in the early stages, and been there with me through the whole process. I wanted to also give a special thanks to my mentors Marcelo and Dylan that have been with me through the whole journey. I am not sure if this project will turn into an actual service or will be an interesting hobby to pursue on, but I know that I cannot stop now. But if you want to ask any questions, feel free to do so. And if you want to go up in more detail on any of the topics that I talked, just visit my portfolio. Thank you.